I am Socrates, the one who once stood on the street corners of Athens, asking the same questions to both the powerful and the citizens alike. Now, let me ask you first, what comes to mind when you hear conspiracy theory? Is it a government controlling the world from behind the scenes? Or a secret society? Perhaps the pharmaceutical interests lurking behind the outbreak of a disease? But what is truly frightening is not the content of the conspiracy theories. It is the structure of the mind that believes in them, and the image of those who believe without question. I ask, what does it mean to believe? Is it evaluation or blind faith? In some sense, conspiracy theories are philosophy. They masquerade as questions but already have their answers predetermined, making them perhaps an anti-philosophical philosophy. However, I must say, it is the believer who is most at risk. Because they stop questioning. Once they mistakenly believe they possess truth, people stop thinking and find comfort in the stories being told. The mind of someone addicted to conspiracy theories is like a solid prison, rejecting outside light and locking itself up. The present is called the information age. Yet that is only half true, because it is also the age of misinformation. Amidst the multitude of narratives flying around on social media, YouTube, and forums, do you possess the power to truly question? Today, I wish to grant you a weapon, that is the power to doubt and the calmness to take a step back from the so-called truth. And above all, the courage to say, I might not know before saying, I know. By the end of this discussion, your thinking will have deepened. To refute conspiracy theories is not to defeat an enemy. It is to keep watch on oneself. Conspiracy theories have now become the modern myths, replacing the ancient ones. You've probably seen them, those truth-telling videos that pop up in your YouTube recommendations, claiming the moon landing was faked, the earth is flat, or vaccines have microchips. They spread like wildfire across social media, pulling in even your friends and family. But this isn't someone else's problem. It's not just fools who are drawn to conspiracy theories. On the contrary, those with a strong intellectual curiosity can become trapped in a cleverly constructed game of pretend knowledge, thinking they are critically engaging with the world. Here, we have some alarming modern data. According to a U.S. survey, approximately 1 in 5 adults say they somewhat believe in some conspiracy theories. While the subjects vary widely, what they all have in common is the presence of a ready-made answer. The system is designed to make you believe there's an inconvenient truth even before you start asking questions. Those who don't ask questions cling to answers, and those who forget to question cannot doubt the answers they receive. So why do people crave answers so desperately? It's out of anxiety. Humans naturally cannot endure the complex and inexplicable nature of reality. Thus, they seek meaning. Even if it's false, they yearn for a story that ties their small world together. Here and now, I promise you, by the end of this discussion, you'll have transformed into someone who can engage in dialogue, not simply someone who laughs at or believes in conspiracy theories. This talk isn't about debunking. It's a call to once again hold on to questions. Every time conspiracy theories make a comeback, the sense of unease in the era deepens. This is no coincidence. When the reliability of societal systems and media wavers and no one knows what's true anymore, narratives begin to take control. Look at the current age. Those dissatisfied with election results cry fraud. And as the public struggles with the pandemic, they clamor that it was orchestrated by a shadowy organization. Just the suggestion of an alternative truth makes people feel relieved. But that relief is nothing more than an anesthetic called thoughtlessness. Have you heard the term echo chamber? It's an environment where only similar opinions are heard. Social media brilliantly replicates this, fostering hostility towards opposing views. Many conspiracy theorists refuse to listen to dissenting voices because they believe those people have been brainwashed. To them, the only ones speaking the truth are those who share the same fears. Everyone else is an enemy or a fool. This is where the greatest danger lies. Conspiracy theories are not about escaping reality, but a dictatorship of thought. The moment one seals off others' questions and believes only their own answers are correct, they distance themselves from philosophy. I have repeatedly asked, what is good? What is beautiful? What is justice? But within conspiracy theories, there is no questioning, only arrogance in what is already known, and an atmosphere that allows no doubt. If you ever hear someone speak of the truth, that is precisely the moment to question yourself. Is it true? Why do I think so? When you stop questioning, you become a slave. It's not that you lose your freedom, you relinquish it. I once posed a question to the people in the marketplace of Athens. Do you truly know that? When asked, most would respond, I've heard of it. Someone said so, or it's common sense. But that is not knowing. It is merely believing. Those enamored with conspiracy theories often respond similarly. There's plenty of evidence. Watch this video. The media is hiding it. But to me, these are not knowledge. They are borrowed convictions. To know begins with questioning. Why was this information conveyed? What does it mean for the broadcaster to speak of it? And most importantly, one must ask, am I not wanting to believe this? The human brain is designed to see what it wants to see and believe what it wants to believe. This trait may be a survival strategy acquired through evolution, but in philosophy, it becomes an adversary. My sole mission is to awaken the soul. It is not to provide knowledge, but to remind one to question, and to cultivate the ability to endure the silence that follows those questions. Conspiracy theories fear silence. Thus, they are eager to speak. Everything is planned. There is a mastermind behind it. But truth only emerges within silence. It cannot be fully articulated. Quietly drop the question into your own heart. It is not about who is speaking, but why you desire it. Seeking truth is akin to dismantling oneself. Do you still have the resolve for that? Philosophy is not about unraveling the workings of the world. It is about dismantling the constructed elements within oneself. Those obsessed with conspiracy theories cling to the narratives of others without realizing the fears and desires festering deep within their own minds. But you are different. You already possess the budding strength to take back questions. So consider this. If you throw reason at someone who believes the earth is flat by saying that's wrong, will they really reconsider? No. Instead, they will likely see you as an enemy because you have denied their story. This is where the difficulty of dialogue lies. For conspiracy theorists, truth is not about information. It is a matter of faith, a refuge of emotion, not logic. There, coherence is secondary to a sense of conviction. That is exactly why we need dialogue and not argument. Genuinely ask, why do you think that way? Or, what are you protecting by believing this information? Embrace them with questions without trying to persuade them, just as I once did with the people of the town. The aim is not to impose the truth, but to create space for the other person to doubt themselves. That is the way a philosopher fights. And above all, it is imperative for you to practice this yourself, to discard your arrogance of knowing and return to the humility of not knowing. This attitude becomes the greatest influence on those around you. When questions spread, the world changes. Answers may be broken, but questions survive. In this age, technology has become a deity. Answers appear instantly with a search. AI crafts sentences, videos convey facts, and people become convinced they understand. Yet understanding is not merely an accumulation of knowledge. It is built upon the courage to embrace ignorance. Conspiracy theories have rapidly proliferated as a byproduct of technology. Algorithms continually present the information you wish to believe, steering you away from deep reflection. How many can resist this tide? While floating on the sea of information, steering one's own course is possible only for those who haven't forgotten how to question. But questioning is painful because it means living with the premise that I may be wrong. Few are willing to confront this anxiety, which is why people crave certainty. Yet I will assert this. While certainty offers comfort, it is questioning that truly sets people free. The resonance of the word conspiracy stirs fear and whispers of an underlying order to the world. But that order is an illusion. In reality, the world is chaotic, a tangled web of endless causal factors. Believing that someone is controlling it only diminishes the world. Truth is always unpredictable, complex, and at times, even harsh. Without the resolve to accept this, people will have no choice but to escape into narratives. However, you have the freedom to choose, to relinquish thinking, or to surrender yourself to continuing to question. Which will you choose? I believe that conspiracy theories do not arise from a lack of knowledge. Instead, they are a trap for those who possess too much knowledge. By piecing together fragmented facts, one assumes they have constructed the whole picture, and therein lies the trap of thought. There was event A, person B was involved, therefore C must be behind it. This kind of reasoning may seem clever at first glance, but it is merely a game of connections to mask ignorance. A truly wise person stops there, acknowledging, I still don't know. Yet, a shallow philosopher advances, thinking, it must be this way. They then create certainty, find an enemy, and indulge in the omnipotent feeling that only they know the truth. It's almost like treating oneself as a god, trying to dispel anxiety by speaking as though one knows everything. But I firmly state this: the strongest person is the one who can say, I don't know. The courage to admit ignorance and the calmness to remain in hypothesis, these are what make philosophy truly philosophical. If you find yourself swayed by someone's conspiracy, pose a question at that moment. Why did I just become convinced? Was it out of anxiety, anger, or hope? Examine your own emotions. Instead of focusing merely on the information, scrutinize the way you receive it. Humans only see what they want to see. Hence, recognizing what it is you want to see is the beginning of true knowledge. As my narrative continues, you must have started to realize by now, conspiracy theories are not simply incorrect information. They represent a worldview and have a structure similar to a religion that provides reassurance of existence. In this worldview, every event is explained by intention. Chance is eliminated, causality is forcefully linked, and a story is completed. However, human history isn't that coherent. Many events are born out of chaos and end unnoticed. The biggest illusion of conspiracy theorists is the belief in a perfect designer of the world. But I would like to ask, does such a perfect designer truly exist? Even our own thoughts are full of misunderstandings, contradictions, and the ambiguity of memory. I understand your anxiety. When faced with an inexplicable world, people seek meaning. Yet it is precisely in such moments that philosophy is needed. The strength to accept the possibility that there may be no meaning is what transforms a person into one who stands on their own. In the age of myths, people interpreted lightning as the wrath of gods. In the age of science, people understood it as a meteorological phenomenon. And now, once again, people are trying to find someone manipulating behind the lightning. In this cycle, where do you stand? Your thinking is built not upon the proclaimed truths, but on the questions you choose for yourself. The dignity of humanity resides not in believing someone else's answers, but in continuously posing questions yourself. However, here and now I will present you with a dangerous question. What if all conspiracy theories were true? Even then, could you choose to keep questioning? Imagine this. The world is indeed manipulated by a select few. The masses are led in ignorance. Information is concealed. Freedom is an illusion. In that scenario, what would your questions be directed at? Most would answer, then I would fight. But I probe one step deeper. Why are you satisfied with believing that? Whether conspiracies are true or not, the essence of questioning does not change. The issue is not about how the world is. It's about why you sought out that narrative. If you fail to focus on this, conspiracy theories will constantly reshape and dominate you. When today's conspiracy crumbles, a new story will fill the void by tomorrow. Because humans are creatures addicted to the pleasure called answers. Thus, I choose instability over pleasure, silence over reassurance, questioning over certainty. It is by no means an easy path, but it is the sole choice that keeps the flame of thought alive. You can do the same. The next time you hear a voice declaring truth, do not nod along to the sweet sound immediately. Take a step back and observe the movements of your heart. Then quietly whisper to yourself, is that true? Do I not just want to believe it? Those who doubt themselves in this way are the ones who truly have the power to change the world. I believe that the richest thoughts inhabit silence. It is only when words run out that people begin to question their own inner selves. Conspiracy theories, however, never run out of words. They continually line up evidence and keep talking, but many of them are afraid of true silence. I don't know. Modern people tend to underestimate this phrase, but I have treated it as one of the most sacred words. The moment someone can say, I don't know, they become free. It's easy to conclude that unseen things exist and create puppeteers in a senseless reality. But at that moment, you become a servant to answers rather than questions. Amidst all the voices describing the world, it is the silence that remains at the end. That is where philosophy resides. My questions often dissolve into that silence. But that's okay. Those who cannot endure silence and try to fill it with words often end up talking too much. And that talk takes the form of conspiracy theories. I ask you, do you have the courage to endure silence? Do you have the strength to carry on questions without rushing to conclusions, leaving them blank? That is where the depth of thought lies. After hearing this discourse, you should not feel that you know something. Instead, you should embrace the weight of not being able to assert anything. Thinking is not the accumulation of knowledge. It is the act of continuing to walk with silence in tow. If you have gained anything from this narrative, it is not knowledge. It is a reconstruction of thinking. More precisely, it is an update in questioning. When confronted with conspiracy theories, many people think, how can I refute this? But I argue that a different question should be posed. How can we allow questions to be reborn? When you corner those immersed in conspiracy theories with words, they fortify their defenses. However, when you offer a question, there arises a possibility for their heart to move. For instance, ask them, what emotions did you feel when you learned that truth? What expression do you have when you tell someone that story? If it turns out to be false, what would you lose? These questions are not swords to break through their defenses. They are mirrors that reach within. Through questioning, one reflects upon oneself. That is the power of philosophy. You too will have moments when you can use this power. When someone's certainty shakes you, or when you find yourself becoming intoxicated by the truth you are trying to convey. In those moments, quietly turn this mirror towards yourself. Why did I choose these words now? Is this narrative truly for someone else, or is it for my own reassurance? You will discover an astonishing number of unconscious motivations. And this awareness is the strongest defense against conspiracy theories. Self-observation, not knowledge. Dialogue, not refutation. The strength to endure silence, not attack. These three are the shields necessary for those who will survive in the coming times. I see this era as a boundary of thought. Technology extends human limits and information flows infinitely. At first glance, it appears that the freedom of thought has never been greater. But in reality, it is an era where the mind cannot keep up with the speed and volume of thoughts. In that gap, conspiracy theories slip in. The moment someone declares, "This is a fact no one knows," people are deluded into thinking they've become holders of a special truth. The pleasure of being on the knowing side drives people toward superiority rather than reason. But I want you to know another pleasure, the beauty of intellectual integrity in staying with not knowing. The flexibility to openly say, "I see," when someone tells you, "That's not right." The humility to question, "Is it true?" even when it's a story you favor. Both of these are the mental muscles philosophy has honed. Conspiracy theories are the enemy of such flexibility. They always rush for answers, set enemies, and attempt to monopolize rightness. That's why I will say this again and again. Conspiracy theories are not an issue of information. It's an issue of ethics and a way of living. When you next encounter a conspiracy theory, ask not, "Should I believe this?" but rather, "What part of me is drawn to this narrative?" It is your desire uncovered there that is both the entrance and the exit to conspiracy theories. This philosophy is not a weapon to defeat enemies. It is a light for you to keep watching over yourself. Thoughts are like a flame. When they spread, they generate heat and illuminate everything around, but eventually that heat transforms into a gentle afterglow. As you are about to end this discourse, the most important thing I want to convey is not some grand truth or skillful argument. It is a simple, quiet question. Do you trust your own thoughts? Not the words of someone else, not the stories that have been spread, not AI. Do you trust the small feeling of this question emerging in your own silence? The world is complicated, ambiguous, incomplete, and often unjust. Within it, people wander in search of perfect answers, but you have the power to hold on to the question in your wandering. It is a lonely path, but at the same time, it is the most liberated one. Conspiracy theories will not disappear. They will re-emerge in different forms. But if you have acquired this mindset, they will no longer be a threat, not as one who defeats enemies with arguments, but as one who lives the question. And I will continue to speak to you from afar. Knowing that you don't know is the greatest wisdom. Beyond the silence, there lies the depth of thought. And there, your new voice will reside.